Welcome to the Hole in the Wall Business Podcast with Bill and James. I'm James Groves, and along with my business partner, Bill DeMent, we want to share our journey as small business owners with you. As owners of Hole in the Wall drywall repair, we will attempt to peel back the curtain of owning a small business in the trade service industry and talk about the many adventures of owning a small business. Hey, Bill.
James, good morning to you.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm great, man. What a great morning it is today.
Great morning, rolling into a great spring here at the Hole in the Wall, and we had a fantastic 2025, didn't we?
We did, and it's been a great first quarter of this year so far. We've been so busy, we've not been able to get as many shows in as we normally like to.
It's kind of nice being back in the studio, isn't it?
Yeah, nice to be able to hit this. And today's a really good show because we have a repeat guest. And those who have been following us for a while, you'll know this guest because we basically knew him when he was just a one-man show, and business was actually a different name. So we'd like to introduce our good friend, Andy Lawniczak.
Hey, guys.
Hey, take a chair. I'm rusty.
I always love the warm welcome from the fans.
Yeah, but he's not alone today.
He is not alone because he has expanded his operation, brought on a new partner, and they're now co-owners, equal owners of their new freshly, how long has it been since you rebranded?
It's almost a year and a half.
Almost a year and a half,
A year and a half now.
Yeah, I think you were on just as you rebranded.
Yeah, that sounds right.
It's now Precision Wrap. So Ben Swanson, welcome.
Hey.
Yeah, welcome.
Bring Ben in.
Thanks for coming in today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, he does sound as young as he looks, actually.
You know, and so Andy showed up today, and he's like, well, I'm not sure what we're going to talk about, guys. When we hadn't really done anything, and then we started going over all the things going on in his life, in his business. And I'm like, I don't think we're going to have any trouble filling
It's a lot of
podcasts, and it's
things
all
that have
good
changed for
stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
So those who don't know, Andy has been a crucial part of Hole in the Wall. He helped us refresh our brand how many years ago now?
It's probably been 4 or 5 years at least, maybe 5 years.
Maybe 5 or 6, and helped us with just kind of the same logo, but just made the whole thing just look fresher. He's the one.
And it still looks fresh 5 years later.
The design on all of our vehicles, that's Andy. He had a company, Creative Imaging,
Wraps,
right?
yeah.
Wraps. And then you went through this change about a year and a half ago where you decided that you wanted to shift to a little more focused name.
Right.
And you changed it to Precision Auto Wraps.
Yeah.
Right. So curious, bring us up to speed a little bit. How have things been going? How has the rebrand been going? Where in this process did Ben come in?
Well, Ben came in, how long has it been? 2.5 years, something like that?
Yeah, right around there.
Yeah, as a graphic designer, because I was needing graphic design
Weren't you like
help.
a part-time guy at first?
I was part-time, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
We met at Chipotle. He was serving
Is that
my
right?
dinner at Chipotle.
Wow.
Yeah.
Business over Mexican. I
Right?
love it.
Right?
It's got to start there,
Yeah.
But I, can let him talk his side of it. He came in as a part-time designer, and I knew things were different with him, like almost immediately, because he was putting systems into place for the company as a part-time employee and with growth in mind. And I was like, this is not a normal employee. And it was very quickly I started thinking about, okay, I want to keep this guy. What do I need to do that? And I started thinking about, hey, what if I made him a partner? And we kind of talked about that. I think that discussion took like a year. It took you a long time.
Yeah.
He researches and overanalyzes everything. So that happened in June of last year.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
so we're coming up on a year here soon. But it's been a ride.
So
It's been
I'm
great.
curious, Ben, how did you arrive here? What was your story like right up to that and just past that Chipotle meeting?
Yeah, sure. So I'm one of 6, oldest of 6. I feel like it comes with the territory. Like you're always kind of taking charge. You got to be responsible.
Sure.
My dad is entrepreneurial, and my mom has found her way into multiple different things where she's leading, helping out, consignment sales, whatever it might be. So I had that, and then the first few jobs I had, I'm a man of faith. I feel like everything happens for a reason, and those different jobs kind of led to it. So I went to Publix first, had that experience, and Publix is awesome, but you have that mentality like the customer's always right, and they're always right. So we never really could, give feedback or rebuttal. It was like if they have a problem, you give them the product right away or a replacement. So I felt I want to be able to be in control. Like I want to make it right, and I don't always be on the receiving end of, if there's injustice, I want to make it right for both parties and the employee. I don't want to just, kind of be in the back of that. And then Chipotle, where we met, me and Andy, I was working part-time there as well. Was going to college, and then that finished, and I just kept working, trying to find a job in the area. I went to every single branding agency, it felt like. And I put in my resume, I put in my portfolio. Some people would get back to me. Some people wouldn't, and it's always the thing of like, oh, you don't have experience?
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Yeah. I'm curious, did you go to UCF or somewhere local?
No, I went to Pensacola Christian College, a really small college up in the Panhandle. And then what brought me here was a small Bible college in Stanford, Reformation Bible College.
And so what was your degree program at Pensacola?
Graphic design.
Graphic design, okay.
So you're a graphic designer. So you're a creative guy kind of by nature then, right? Yeah, okay. And so that kind of led to how do you like talk over Chipotle? He's just feeding you Chipotle. Does he say I'm a graphic designer on his name tag or something?
Well, you
He
noticed
did.
my logo on my shirt and
Yeah.
asked about it because it said Creative Imaging Wraps, but in my logo it has a Christian cross and a fish, and piqued his interest. He was like, "So, what do you do?" I said, "I do vehicle wraps," and he said, "Are they Christian vehicle wraps?" I said, "Well, we're a Christian company. We just do vehicle wraps." And then I don't remember how I found out you were a graphic designer.
I just said it. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's cool. I'm a graphic designer. You're like, oh, I'm looking for a graphic
Yeah.
designer.
Oh, that's crazy. Wow, that's really...
Here's a plot twist, though. He applied along with another guy, and he didn't get the job.
Oh, is that right?
You're rejected.
Yeah, so he had less experience and wanted more money, but I liked a lot about him. It was a very difficult decision. I went with this other guy. He was great. Liked him, but he got a better job like a month later, and so I reached back out to Ben and was like, "Hey, how's it going?"
Yeah, and how'd that look from your side, Ben, when he reached back out?
Yeah, that was really cool. I mean, we met again through a different project I was working on, and it was through at the time he had a separate company, and I worked with him on that, and I was like, oh yeah, I know this guy. I tried to work for him. And then it was 3 days later, I got a call, said Andy Lawniczak. I was like, I have a weird feeling about how this is about to go.
Interesting.
Yeah. So you kind of grew up though with an entrepreneur kind of family, right? So there was a business kind of running through the family structure a little bit. So it wasn't a surprise. You didn't like just magically come up with all these systems. You just knew intuitively, well, you have to run a business with systems, right? So it's kind of neat because it's almost organic compared to like people who go to business school and people who like I've got decades of experience, but it took decades to learn some of the things that you guys have probably been able to implement faster.
And James, it reminds me we have had a franchise candidate in our office before and had an MBA, and I'm telling you, the person didn't know anything. The questions he was asking us indicated he didn't know anything about running a business.
Yeah, I know a lot of smart people that are really dumb at business. It just happens. Listen, people just get by the process. I've got a son who is an amazing musician. He cannot improvise. If it doesn't have sheet music by the number, he can't just improv, right?
Yeah.
It's so difficult for people to do that. So just different minds are called for different reasons. So I love it. So the rebrand though, because it was tough. I mean, we went back and forth. I mean, you helped. We consulted a little bit on it and just talked as buds. And how do you feel the rebrand has really shaped the company?
I think it's played a big part. I think we look a lot more professional and put together than we did. And the rebrand was done with intentionality. And there's a reason behind everything that we did in the rebrand. And I think that comes through, just the name itself, Precision Auto Wraps. That's what we strive to do and to be precise and, good, high quality. And so, what you had mentioned before, we had kind of come up with some other ideas, and you were the only one that gave negative or constructive criticism with that. But I took that to heart because I trust you and I hold you in high esteem, and I think that was excellent because I think this brand is so much better than that.
Yeah, he texted me, he says,
been.
"Give me what."
Yeah, I remember.
Do you want my honest opinion?
Yes.
Because I will tell you what you want to hear.
To be fair, he showed it to me too.
But yeah, and I was like,
But that was all him.
And I go, am I wrong? I'm not a fan of this, and here's why. It was like, and actually, I didn't tell you to change the name. I just told you to change colors and get rid of something. And it was like, but then you're like, no, that's not even worth
Well, when you said that, I realized, hey, we need to go to the drawing board and figure out why we're doing this. Because all I wanted originally was a mascot for my existing business. And then through that process, I realized, hey, if we're going to do this, let's do it right. Let's do a new name. Let's figure out what it should be. And all that kind of fell into place. And so I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
So was that happening before or after you hired Ben?
So Ben was on staff then. He wasn't a partner then. But
Okay.
he came up. So I came up. We found some ideas, and I kind of came up with some name options and stuff. And then he took an idea that I had for the mascot and totally blew it away. And this is what we came up with. So Ben came up with the logo and the mascot and all that.
Well, if you rewind, we just first started the podcast. We actually had, I think it was John Kennedy in talking about IT stuff.
Yeah.
And you just started listening to the podcast. And about 4 weeks after that podcast dropped with John Kennedy, you called me up and you go, man, you shamed me. How dare you? I'm like, what did I do, man? I'm so sorry if I offended you. He says, all right, I'm getting rid of my Gmail account.
I remember that. You were talking about that.
I bought the domain name, and I'm going to, yeah, and now you've got this.
But it makes so
amazing
much
business.
sense what you were saying. You know, the Gmail email addresses kind of give the impression you're just getting started.
Yes.
You know, but when you switch it, everything comes into place. and
Yeah.
it looks so
Well, it's
professional.
all part of your intellectual property, right? It's all part of your brand is more than your logo. Your brand is the look, the feel, everything, the continuity, and so to me it was important, and it was one of, I just looked at Bill and said if we were able to affect one life with our podcast, it was worth everything we did.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you recovered from the shame, and
it was short-lived shame. It was good shame.
it was just fun.
It just conditioned him for what Ben was bringing.
Right?
Absolutely. So, have you seen some growth since the rebrand, and
man.
what do you contribute the growth to?
Yeah. So from 2024 to 2025, we did over 2.6 times the business in 1 year.
Wow,
Like,
that's really significant.
And I think it's a lot of things. I don't think it's any one thing. I definitely think it's branding. I definitely think having Ben on staff allowing us to expand, because he's got certain roles and I've got certain roles. And I was being myself. I was not wanting to expand past a certain point because I just didn't want. That's a lot to take on it by myself. I was like,
Yes.
I'm just going to do what I can do by myself. And that's fine. With him on board, we can split, divide, and conquer. And that allowed so much more influx. We started spending money on search engine optimization. With BNI, that kind of exploded. We now have 3 people in 3 different chapters now for
Wow.
that. And so, we found out that's 40% of our business. Is
So
BNI referrals.
BNI referrals is 40%.
Web searching is 20%, and then the rest is like repeat business, customer referrals, and all
organic
that.
stuff.
And it's just been crazy. And so, yeah.
So, do you see a growth projection? Or are you guys plateaued, or do you think it's going to keep growing?
Well, so far we're up 20% over last year, even.
Wow.
So year to date. So we definitely have goals now, which is totally new for me. I was never a goal person. We just take whatever God brings. We're going to service and do the best that we can. But now we're looking at, hey, what would it look like if we got to this sales level, and what do we have to do to get there? And we're working with a CFO, and he's helping us through that, and it's been really good. Understanding the numbers, seeing where we can go, and breaking it down into things that we
That's
can do.
such an exciting stage in business when you get there. I remember we had that when Bonnie came in one time. She's like, well, what have you guys forecast for next year for blah, blah, blah? And we're like,
what does that mean?
we didn't even know there was a forecast. What?
Right.
But it really jogged us.
to make enough money to eat and pay back
Right,
the
exactly.
Keep living indoors.
So you're making more money. Is your profit margins increase?
So yeah, and they're continuing to go up. We're finding more and more ways to make things more efficient and all of that. And the funny thing is, back when we rebranded, it was at a time where everything was going wrong. We had some jobs that didn't turn out well. We had to redo them, and the rebranding was costing money and all of this. And my wife was not on team rebrand. She was so upset about it. But then she's seen this growth. She's like, yeah, maybe that was a good idea.
Yeah. I'd like to dig in a little bit more on the business coach. Tell me how you found him, and what does that look like for you guys?
So in our BNI group, there's Danny Ramos of Think CFO, and he's a CFO, basically like a bookkeeper, and he helped us get our QuickBooks in order. But then also we have a a strategy session once a month, and we look over the numbers and see where we're growing, what our margins are, what our goals are, and how we can get there. And so he's kind of acting like a business coach in a way, but it's helping us to understand the data, which we never had before. I could see, okay, we made this much profit, but we couldn't see where our money was going, where we were getting our business from, any of that. And he helped us to figure that out. And there's so much you can do with that now that we couldn't do before.
So what was your system beforehand? I mean, you had money coming in, money going out. What did that look like?
It was all manual, like literally everything. Even my invoices were basically glorified spreadsheets. I would send them out. They would call in with their payment information. There was no planning. My taxes that I did at the end of the year, I would in like February, I would sit down and take a weekend and categorize every expense from the year, and that was how it is. But now we've got QuickBooks. Everything comes in. It's all categorized. We can see immediately where things are going, and all of that. And so,
well, having that, because Dan's great because he acts as a fractional CFO. Like, so he's like your CFO, but kind of on a as needed part-time basis, right? So, but to have somebody in the business that can help with the finances, it's hard because as business people, we may know a lot about money, how to spend it historically. Bill's great. He likes to look at the bank accounts, but that's not the books, right? The books are in QuickBooks. When are the bills due? How much is what's going to be forecast? Oh, by the way, this bill that we pay once a year is coming up, so make sure we save enough money to pay that bill.
Yeah, it's the like with your personal finances. It's like, wait, Christmas is in December this year? Yeah, you're always surprised by it. You're always caught off guard.
Guilty.
And that's what I'm like.
Guilty. Yeah.
I'm like, James, we're going to have taxes to pay. We're making money. We have to put money aside for all this stuff. You want to do bonuses? You do it from money that's put aside, not out of general funds.
Which is new for us too. Before Ben came along, I didn't even consider like having a business savings account. It was all just profit. Great, excellent. Yeah. But when we were talking about him coming on, I started savings account, and that makes things so much smoother. You don't have to, if you've got something you need to reprint or whatever, okay, we've got money for it. It's not coming out of my paycheck. It's coming out of the money that we've set aside for stuff like that. If we want to expand and do something new for the business, hey, we need this thing. We just put in a snack bar at the shop. So there's snacks and there's a counter and it's beautiful. And it's so exciting. But, that's things to expand with. So, and I know Ben was excited when we finally got to understand the numbers. He was asking for those.
So I think I'm getting that Ben maybe was more into the numbers. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that was a main part of me coming on is I appreciated Andy and how on top of it he was in his time, but I just didn't know how that really looked and how it looked on paper. So that was one of the precursors to, what does a partnership look like is, can we get to the point where we can get these in QuickBooks, are tracking things on a recurring basis? And then we got there and we were very pleased with where we were at.
Yeah. Well, and if you don't cross that bridge, you restrict yourself to how far you can grow. Yeah. Your spreadsheet's only going to get you so far.
Yeah.
So, right. Yeah. And that's one way we kind of balance each other out is Andy's, again, like a day-to-day, he loves getting in the work.
Get it done.
Every morning is ready to go. And I'm like long-term thinking. Yeah. I don't worry about things in the day because I'm already looking at how I can solve them in the future. So we balance each other out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny because as an entrepreneur, you think that you can do everything, but we know we can't, right? And so there's a certain part in business where, Bill already had a successful business before I came on board, but he knew that he was limited by his skill set.
And my spreadsheets.
And your spreadsheets. And he needed someone to kind of come in and help him rally the troops and kind of move forward with it. So that partnership is what was able to then. But I would never have started a business on my own. Right. I would not be in a drywall business. I would never thought about hole in the wall. I would never have come up with the concept to begin with. Now I can run a business, but so when he kind of we always say he ran the first several laps and then he handed the baton to us and now we get to be able to do this thing together. So I see that in you guys where you wanted to grow, but you were kind of at your break point, like I'm not sure what to do, and then God brings you somebody that can help you move instead of being in the cart while you pull the wagon. He's actually out front helping you pull the wagon. So so now you guys have more because you were a one-man show for a minute, and then so do you have more employees now?
Yeah. So this Friday, our 5th employee
There you go.
Starting
That's how it all
full-time
begins.
graphic designer.
Love it. Oh my
And
goodness.
So we're excited about that. We've got a full-time installer. We've got a part-time social media person, and then the two of us. And then we also have contract installers that help when we need it, and we need it frequently.
Yeah.
We're kind of in the middle stage on whether one installer is enough. Not really, but is there enough to keep two people busy full-time? No, not really. So it's kind of
So we always keep a visual. It's like a what do you call it? A scale. Do I have enough work? Then I got to have enough people to do the work, and you really it's a fight to keep it balanced, and that's what I hear you saying.
Well,
right
then,
there.
so you have employee, you got to find the right employees, but you have a space issue in your warehouse.
Yeah.
Is so big,
We get 3 parking spots
Yeah.
at our current place and 5 employees, and I have another business that has 1 employee, and then plus the
Customers.
customers. Yeah, there was one time last month where I counted there were 14 vehicles at our shop, and they may have all been there at one time.
Wow.
We were doing all kinds of stuff that day, and it's just crazy. So yeah, our lease is up in November. We're definitely looking to expand. We need some more warehouse space, but also a place that has more parking.
You can only put so many vehicles inside the warehouse.
Yeah, and that's not really an issue. Correct. So we have 2 bays right now, and I think that's fine. 2 in there because you're not working on 4 or 5 at one time.
Sure.
Yeah.
But we need a place for them. Now we try to keep it where their vehicles are only there while they're being worked on, so they're not sitting there for weeks. But when moving things around and we're waiting on one to pick up their vehicle and the next one, so we need more space there, and so we kind of
Long way away from doing it on the outside of your house.
yes in my garage.
We would drop vehicles off at your
Yes,
house.
at
Yeah, I remember that.
And again, our trucks were too big to go inside the garage, so poor guy.
So I am hearing a lot of changes here. So rebranding, new partner, business coach, a lot of increased business.
Yeah.
A lot of changes to your business processes.
Mm-hmm.
Curious, what's the future look like? What are you forecasting? What's next?
What do you think, Ben?
Future. Well, we definitely want to get the new building and just increase with the people that we have. And then we've got a few options on the table of kind of where we want to take it. Obviously, we respect you guys a lot. And so franchising has come up before, or, maybe we
Maybe a
want
second location.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about that.
Satellite.
Well, so just my brain for a second, just forecasting for you without being unsolicited for my advice here. But I don't see there's anything wrong with having a production line where you have 4 or 5 vehicles at one time, right? So think future big. When you get your new space, it needs to be big enough on the inside as well as the outside for your people.
Sure.
You got to keep 20 technicians
Yeah.
busy
But-
anyway.
You're in
Well-
you're in 3 B&Is. You can have multiple graphic designers. You can have in-house printing down the road, so you can be able to print.
Maybe.
And if not, at least you keep your guy super busy. And there's no reason why you can't do 4 or 5 vehicles at a time.
Well, the question is, and we've talked about this a lot, what do we want to look like? And I have some friends in the business that have 10 installers, and they keep telling me stay small. And, there's kind of a sweet spot on where you want to be and what is manageable, because you get more employees. You got to have the jobs coming through the door. And, what does it take to do that? Well, you need other staff for this and that. And I think, 5 or 6 or 7 employees is probably where we want to be. I could see another full-time installer. I could see maybe another designer, or we talked about a project manager, full-time project manager, to kind of take stuff off Ben's plate. And that would be ideal for us without growing too big and being too stressed out, because I like where they're going. Now, if it gradually increases slowly, maybe we will, but that's not currently a goal for us.
I don't think you have a choice.
Yeah,
I don't think
it sounds like it.
I don't.
Yes.
I get what you're saying. It's nicer. This world would be better without people, right? The business would be great if it didn't have customers or employees have to deal
Didn't have
with.
to deal with the public.
So I get it that being small, you limit the headaches that are potentially there, but you're also going to cap yourself on dollar amounts, right?
That is absolutely true.
And if you want to expand other locations, maybe a franchise down the road, we can talk about that offline, you've got to prove that there's money in it, long term. So when someone buys a franchise, they're not buying a job, they're buying a career they can build an empire with, right? So those would be the things that I'm thinking of. That you want to make sure that your location is the shining star if you ever go that route. And if you do have other locations, you want to make sure that they can call for help by
Right.
the experts at the home base. So I think that vision, even if that's 10 years, right, that's fine. But have that long-term goal, right? Then just so we need to be here. Like we rent multiple warehouses here, but we would like to have a building someday.
Yeah.
But to buy that building is going to cost us $3 million. So we're going to keep working with what we got until that time comes, right?
Yeah.
So, but having those big visions and goals allows you the freedom to grow. So when that savings account gets a little bit higher and you realize, I got enough for 20% down on a property, I'm not going to use the whole property, but I can sublease the rest of it out to somebody else to help me pay that mortgage. So all of a sudden you start thinking in a different term. So I think you guys are on the right track. I think you were completely on the right track. Go slow. There's no rush, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Ben wants to retire someday, but he looks young enough. He can hang around for a minute. You want to retire someday? Maybe. We're getting older, Andy.
I feel it, man. I don't know.
No comment.
But you got how many kids now? A million?
7.
Seven.
A million.
Seven. And you're one of 6? You're oldest of 6?
Yeah.
All right. I'm the oldest
We're
of
down
4.
to 3 at home, and the oldest one's engaged. So hopefully
Wow.
soon
Yeah.
be down to 2.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah, out the door. Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah. Bill, you still got one at home, but I've got none at home, and it's a lovely experience.
What I'm striving for.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Piper's only 5, so
You got a minute.
You got, yeah, you're going to be
She's 5.
She's
Holy
5.
moly. That's crazy. Well, it's great. I want people to know how to find you. I want people to figure out the best way to get you referrals. What is the website? What's the phone numbers? What's social links? All that good stuff.
Well, I'd say the best bet is either the website or like Facebook, Precision Auto Wraps or precisionautorapps.com. That's got all of our other information.
Yeah.
Can call or whatever.
Great.
But
And you guys are here in Orlando, but I know that you do things for me all around the country. Right?
Yes.
So obviously we've got vehicles all over the country now. Some's going to California, Michigan, we're in Colorado, we're everywhere. So even then, you still help me design, you still help me print, and then you even work with the installers locally to make sure that my vehicles that you can't put your hands on physically are still taken care of to our standards. So you're kind of, you can help other people as
yeah,
well.
I can help anywhere. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, very good. Anything else before we let these guys go?
No, great having you guys in.
Oh, it's so exciting.
Pleasure. I've met Ben a couple of times before in the shop. He always seemed kind of quiet and very engaged.
Yeah.
He always seems busy when I'm there. Friendly, but always busy,
Yeah,
which is
it's
good.
busy, yep.
But I'm glad you could come in and we get a chance to dig in and get to know you a little bit more. And again, always it's
That's
great
fun,
to say hey to Andy. And I think there's lunch afterward, I heard.
Yeah, we're going to need some food.
Yeah.
Good news is that if you call, Ben will probably answer, not Andy. So that'll be
It was definitely Ben is the one answering.
Answer the
It doesn't
phone.
even come to my phone. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
even ring my phone. So
awesome.
you,
Ben, it's great getting to talk to you on the show. I love what you have been able to bring to my friend in the business that we have just developed and grown and been a part of our world for years now.
Yeah.
So thank you. Welcome to the Hole in the Wall family, frankly, and I'm so glad to see you guys just launch. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thank you for listening. Good show.
We'd like to thank you for listening to the Hole in the Wall Business Podcast with Bill and James. We'd love for you to join our Facebook group and keep the conversation going. If you'd like to learn more about us and our business, check us out at holeinthewall.com. If you'd like to learn more about how to start a Hole in the Wall franchise, go to holeinthewallfranchising.com.